What you need is hidden in plain sight. Can I share something with you? People are searching for comfort, searching for strength, searching for peace, searching for hope, searching for healing, searching for answers. Some are searching for direction. Some are searching for purpose. Some are simply trying to make it through another day. And while people are searching in countless places, I wonder how many realize that some of the things we need most have been hidden in plain sight all along. For thousands of years, people have turned to the Psalms during seasons of fear, grief, uncertainty, disappointment, transition, and loss. Why? Because the Psalms speak to real life. They speak to people who are hurting. They speak to people who are searching. They speak to people who need to be reminded that they are not alone. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. A shepherd guides. A shepherd protects. A shepherd watches over what belongs to him. And perhaps one of the greatest comforts in life is knowing that we do not walk through life alone. David continues, "He restoreth my soul." I love those words because there are seasons when the soul becomes tired. Life has taken more out of us than we expected. Responsibilities, disappointments, losses, unexpected turns, and sometimes we don't realize how much we have been carrying until we finally stop long enough to breathe. Psalm 34 reveals another treasure. The Lord is near unto them that are of a broken heart. What a beautiful promise. God is near, not distant, not absent, near. When hearts are broken, when prayers seem unanswered, when disappointment feels heavy, when grief feels overwhelming, God is near. The Psalms remind us that God is not intimidated by pain. He does not withdraw from broken people. He draws near to them. And perhaps that is something someone needs to hear today. You may feel alone. You may feel forgotten. You may feel as though no one understands what you are carrying. But the psalmist reminds us that God is near. Not after the storm, not after the healing, not after the answer arrives. He is near right now. Psalm 46 gives us another picture of God's character. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble. Not a distant help, a present help. There are moments in life when explanations are not enough. We need refuge. We need somewhere safe to place our fears, somewhere safe to place our burdens, somewhere safe to place our concerns. The psalmist reminds us that God is that refuge, not only when life is calm, but especially when life is not. And perhaps that is one of the treasures many people are missing. Not the absence of trouble, but the presence of a refuge. Psalm 103 reminds us of something we often forget. The soul forgets. We remember disappointments. We remember losses. We remember painful seasons. We remember the things that hurt us. Yet David says, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and forget not all his benefits." Sometimes the soul needs reminding that God has been faithful, reminding that God has been merciful, reminding that God has carried us through situations we thought would break us, reminding that God has opened doors we could not open ourselves, reminding that God has provided when we did not know where provision would come from, reminding that God has sustained us through seasons we never thought we would survive. The soul forgets, and that is why David speaks to his own soul. He reminds himself, He remembers. He reflects on the goodness of God. And perhaps there are moments when we need to do the same. To pause, to look back, to remember, to remind ourselves that the God who was faithful then is still faithful now. Psalm 121 asks a question that many people are asking today. Where does my help come from? The psalmist answers, I will lift up mine eyes unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. My help cometh from the Lord. What a powerful reminder. Help has a source. There are seasons when we do not know what to do. Seasons when our own wisdom feels insufficient. Seasons when the path forward seems unclear. Seasons when we have more questions than answers. Yet the psalmist reminds us to lift our eyes, not to ignore reality, not to pretend the problem does not exist, but to remember where our help comes from. Our help comes from the Lord, the one who neither slumbers nor sleeps, the one who watches over his people, the one who remains faithful through every season. And perhaps someone listening today needs that reminder. You are not carrying this alone. Your help has a source, and that source is God. Psalm 139 reveals another treasure. God knows us completely, not the version of ourselves that other people see. The real us, the worried us, the grieving us, the hopeful us, the discouraged us, the whole us. The psalmist writes, O Lord, thou hast searched me and known me. Think about that for a moment. God knows every detail, every thought, every struggle, every fear, every question, every tear. And yet, he still loves us. He still calls us his own. He still reaches toward us. What a remarkable truth. Because many people spend their lives trying to be understood, trying to be accepted, trying to be seen. Yet, before anyone else knew our story, God already did. Before anyone else understood our struggles, God already did. Before anyone else saw our potential, God already did. And perhaps that is one of the greatest treasures hidden in the Psalms. You are fully known and fully loved, not because of what you have accomplished, not because of what you possess, not because of what others think, but because you belong to God. And when we understand that, it changes how we see ourselves. It changes how we face life. And it reminds us that we are never alone. Then we come to Psalm 91. And I believe there is a treasure hidden here that many people overlook. Psalm 91 begins with these words, He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Notice the word dwell. The psalmist does not say visit. He does not say stop by occasionally. He does not say show up when life becomes difficult. He says dwell. To dwell means to remain, to stay, to make a place your home. And perhaps that raises an important question. Where are we dwelling? Not physically, but spiritually, emotionally, mentally. Because the truth is, we all dwell somewhere. Some people dwell in fear. Some dwell in worry. Some dwell in regret. Some dwell in disappointment. Some dwell in what happened yesterday. Some dwell in what might happen tomorrow. The psalmist invites us somewhere different. He invites us into the presence of God, not as visitors, as residents, not as people who occasionally stop by when life gets hard, but as people who make God's presence their home. And there is a tremendous difference between visiting and dwelling. When God's presence becomes your dwelling place, life begins to look different. The challenges may still come. The uncertainties may still arise. The difficult seasons may still appear. but you are no longer facing them from the same place. You are facing them from under the shadow of the Almighty. You are facing them from a place of relationship, a place of trust, a place of peace, a place of refuge. And perhaps that is why this psalm has brought comfort to so many people throughout the years, because it reminds us that yes, God's presence is not simply a place we visit. It is a place where we can live, a place where we commune with Him, a place where we learn His heart, a place where our souls find rest, a place where we discover that we are not facing life alone. He's talking about dwelling, making God's presence your home. And after everything we have seen throughout the Psalms, we arrive at one of the most powerful declarations in all of Scripture, Psalm 27. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? What a statement. Notice David does not say there are no enemies. He does not say there are no battles. He does not say there are no challenges. In fact, he acknowledges opposition. He acknowledges difficulties. He acknowledges circumstances that would naturally produce fear. Yet he says, my heart shall not fear. How can someone speak with that kind of confidence? David understood what it felt like to be pursued. He understood opposition. He understood uncertainty. He understood seasons when life did not go according to plan. Yet David understood something else. He had seen the faithfulness of God. He had watched God make a way where there seemed to be no way. He had watched God sustain him through difficult seasons. He had watched God preserve him when circumstances suggested otherwise. So when David speaks with confidence, he is not speaking from theory. He is speaking from experience. God preserved him. God sustained him. God fulfilled his promises. God brought him through. So David is looking back over the faithfulness of God and allowing that faithfulness to strengthen him for whatever lies ahead. Then David gives us what may be the most revealing statement in the entire psalm. One thing have I desired of the Lord, that will I seek after. One thing, not 10 things, not 100 things, one thing. That I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life. There is that word again. Dwell, not visit, not occasionally stop by, dwell. David had discovered something that many people spend their entire lives searching for. The greatest treasure was not found in a possession, not found in a position, not found in an achievement. It was found in the presence of God. The closer David drew to God, the more clearly he could see life. The closer David drew to God, the stronger his heart became. The closer David drew to God, the less power fear seemed to have. And perhaps that is why these Psalms continue to speak to us today, because they remind us that what we need most is not found in a place. It is found in a relationship with the God who restores, the God who comforts, the God who strengthens, the God who helps, the God who knows us completely, the God who invites us to dwell with him. Perhaps what many people need today has been hidden in plain sight all along. It hasn't been hidden from us. It's been waiting for us, waiting in the pages of Scripture, waiting in the presence of God, waiting to be discovered. Your life, your choice, and your move.